and we will be going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It's currently 69 degrees outside with a high of 90 today, so it kind of feels like summer's finally gotten here. I know we've had all these storms and stuff blowing through, so it's kept the temperatures kind of mild, humid, so it feels hotter than it is, but mild, so mid 80s is kind of what we've been dealing with the last couple of weeks, but summer's finally here, so be ready for some hot weather, especially this weekend. It looks like we got a high of 94, 95 on Saturday, so be prepared for that. Now, traffic conditions going into Tulsa are steady, but quick. So there's no congestion. The traffic's moving. It's flowing very well into Tulsa, but I wouldn't say it's light traffic by any stretch of the mind. Well, I say that right as it gets to be light. But, yeah, no. So if you're commuting into Tulsa, you have not left yet, your trip's going to be just fine. So don't worry about having to divert to any other route. Now, with that being said, local events in the Owasso area, Chad, you got anything or any changes to the calendar?
Nothing's changed. Just that reading thing and the artisans thing is really all we have this week.
Yeah.
So that's all there is.
Awesome. Well, then we'll just push straight on into what our subject, or the primary subject of national news today is. Democrats vote for the dead. So I don't even know what this guy was. He was elected.
He was a congressman.
Congressman Donald Payne Jr. is dead. But the voters in his district voted him back into office. So, or primaried him back as the Democratic primary candidate. So, I mean, what does that tell you about our informed voter base? I mean, it just, at this point, it seems like they want you misinformed, so you'll just vote for people. And, again, this is what we call like the shadow campaign, the unelected officials running the government. This guy's dead. So his staff will be running the show. Now, you can be like, oh, well, we trust him, so we trust his staff. It's like, his staff are unelected officials who've probably been there a long time. This is what we refer to as the deep state. So these shadowy people working behind him will be running the show. Now, perhaps, this isn't too uncommon, but, I mean, our president's basically dead. Now, it's not a threat. I'm just saying he's basically brain dead. So, I mean, he's definitely not all there cognitively. I mean, he definitely's got, I don't know what stage of dementia he's in, but I don't know if it's the earliest stage or if it's more of a mid stage. But yeah, this is what happens. Dead at 65. And his staff convinced everyone that he was going to be just fine. Like, he was they were like, oh yeah, he'll be back very soon. But the guy was on a ventilator, was unconscious for months, but his staff kept going, oh yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And that's terrifying that they don't want that voter base informed. They go, oh yeah, he might not pull out of this. But they just kept going, oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Now he's dead. And
well, I mean, they've basically done the same thing with Dianne Feinstein and all these other.
Oh yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're, in a wheelchair, barely able to move or speak. Like, they're going to keep them there as long as possible. It's ridiculous.
They're sitting there like this, and then someone goes, "Aye," and then their staff comes up behind and goes, "Aye." So yeah, I mean, it's scary stuff. I mean, this is why we need to have. I mean, I know it takes money to run for congressional districts, but my goodness, we have to have people who have a dog in the fight, a stake in the future. Dianne Feinstein, Joe Biden. I mean, that's why I think Joe Biden's taking a crap on the table right now. Like, I mean, he's starting crap with Russia. He's literally, I mean, Russia's basically declared World War III because Biden, when Trump was convicted, Biden or his deep state staff have approved U.S. weapons to be used in attacks into Russia. Russia is basically saying this is an act of war from NATO and the U.S. against us. So this is them taking a dump on the table. So we're too afraid to switch horses mid-race. It's like, well, we already have Biden in. You know, he can handle the situation. He's proven. It's like, but here's the flip side of that. Let's say Biden doesn't win. They're crapping on the table and making as big a mess as possible, like with the border, leaving the border open, starting a fight with Russia. They're making sure that Donald Trump inherits the worst mess possible so he cannot have a good term. Sabotage.
Yep, not wrong. And that's basically what it seems like they're doing. And two, I'm a firm believer nowadays that if you're a politician that advocates for war, your
You
kids,
or your kids should be on the hook.
And like frontline duty.
Front lap, yeah. Like mobile infantry, baby.
Mm-hmm. Come join the line.
Yeah. Yeah, their kids should definitely be conscripted and put up on whichever who's going to be the first assaulting force. They have to be either the Army or the Marines. They cannot do Air Force and they cannot do Navy. They have to be frontline soldiers. So, if you're an elected official and you're too old to go, then your kids are on the hook. And I know that even your daughters should be conscripted as well.
And that's the problem with Biden. The only ones that he'd have would be his grandchildren at this point because his kids are all too old.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, Hunter's been in. He can handle it. He might not be effective, but he can be a grunt again. He doesn't have to be an officer anymore. He doesn't have to get his commission back. But he was dishonorably discharged,
I don't
right?
think so because he has to have teeth.
Oh God,
have good dental record.
That's true. But yeah, so Democrats voted in a dead guy for their primary, and I guess they're just going to let his shadow campaign run it, or his staff. So that's terrifying, the fact that we can just oh yeah, we don't need you to be alive, we just need your name and your notoriety, and we will have the staff run the show.
Pretty much.
I mean, and the staff is not accountable to you, the voter. So whoever the people are in his district that voted for him, they're not held accountable. And it's like, well, we can crap on his legacy and crap on his name if we want to.
And that's what most conservatives and even Donald Trump, I believe, mean by the deep state. Like, the deep state does not mean politicians necessarily, because politicians have to be voted in every few years.
It's the people who are on their staff that never leave Washington. That's the deep state. The people that have been there their entire lives that know what to do. Like, I'll get this sorted. Like, when they come in, they go, I need to do this. And they go, I'll get this sorted out for you. Don't worry about it. And you're like, okay, thank you. I'll go and worry about going to these parties where I can raise more funds for my reelection. Yeah, thank you.
At this point, I would 100% agree that Dianne Feinstein and Ruth Bader Ginsburg's plebs, or whatever you want to call her staff, are officially deep staters, because those two women should not be.
Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, I know she's passed away now, but she should not have been in as frail and as old as she was. It's like you said. I guarantee you, they were literally passing stuff in her office with her name on it, but it was them doing it. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. And, that's kind of what they want. They want to have these frail old people in there who just yes. Yeah. So they can just pass as much legislation or do as much as they can behind their backs without them knowing. Yeah.
The Democratic Party is literally the Weekend at Bernie's.
Yes. Yeah. So it's terrifying stuff. And these people, these unelected officials, this is what we refer to as the deep state. The people running the show behind the scenes are the deep state. The politicians, the people that you voted to represent you, they really don't have a whole heck of a lot to say. They just go to those congressional sessions and vote yay or nay. That's really about all they do. Now, they're supposed to vote on your behalf, but when they're not there, they send scribes or whoever else. It's these shadow people in the background doing all this stuff. So, we'll leave it at that. It's a big problem, but hopefully Donald Trump gets reelected and maybe he can actually attempt to drain the swamp this time effectively. But again, it's going to be difficult because the swamp's been there for 200 plus years now.
100%.
And now there is financial backing there that can never be undone. Too much money. So, anyway, with that being said, we'll push on. We're kind of back onto the degeneracy of Pride Month. Pride, the deadliest of the 7 deadly sins.
I'll just say this is it's D-Day. It's June 6th. And I haven't seen anything like World War II related anywhere. It's all
in the
been
media.
Pride.
Yeah. All about Pride. So this is what I mean. Why a month, a day? I would be more okay with, but it's a month where you get to celebrate what? One of the 7 deadly sins? Why are you proud of who you bang? Why, like, I'm not, like, do I like my girlfriend and I'm happy to have her? Yes. Proud of myself for that, but I'm not proud of the fact that I have sexual proclivities towards women. So I don't understand why Pride is so, like, you should celebrate the fact that we celebrate having sexual proclivities toward men. Why? Well, because we've been shunned in society for wanting, and that's they're taking advantage of our good nature. It's like, okay, yeah, okay, fine, you were shamed for wanting to love another dude. Okay, but they always take it too far. It's like, oh, they're out there, and like it's like the pictures we showed you the other day of like the Pride in the '60s, where they were just dudes wearing polo shirts and jeans and walking down the street going, "We want to love who we want to love." Fair enough. Now it's not that. Now it's naked dudes dancing around the street. I mean, go ahead and play that the video you got pulled up there.
You got it.
And go ahead and get rid of that lower if you can.
Bear out here in front of the WeHo. Oh my gosh.
What has been your favorite part of this event so far?
I loved going out there and seeing all the kids.
Loved seeing all the kids.
Look at these guys wearing banana hammocks. There's a little bear, a guy wearing a bear mask with a banana hammock on, and that's it.
It's disgusting. This is sickening.
Yeah, so this is Pride now. Like, Pride back in the day was them wearing khakis and polos and going, we just want to love each other. And now it's, hey, look at me. Look how I'm cut and fit. And I want to jangle around my dangus in front of your kids. They need to see this. This is important culture for Pride. Good God. Like, I mean, any rational person should be able to look at that and be like, why do my kids need to see that? That's why, again, it's the same reason I have a hard time believing, like, everyone's like, Hooters and Twin Peaks, it's family friendly. I don't know about that. I mean, I guess it's technically beach attire, but the gyrating, I mean, because for guys, like, it's, you know, girls, it's up here. For guys, like, when they're jangling their parts around, it's like, it's obviously inappropriate, and you don't need to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Same with girls. They don't need to be out there obnoxiously flaunting themselves, but at the same time, this is just, that's degenerate behavior. And the fact that they're out there going, that, and they said that is a family-friendly event. You got those guys when their banana hammocks shaking their stuff for all the kids in town. It's like, and all, if you're a parent sitting on the sideline, like I said, again, there's no limit to what white liberal women will sacrifice their children on the altar of progressivism. But yeah, they're like, oh, look at that. Haha, isn't that beautiful? This is so culturally enriching.
Such culture.
Yeah.
Such vibrant. So vibrant. So beautiful.
Yeah. So this is not what Pride should look like. It should be just, I mean, but again, this is like, marches aren't what they used to be. Like, marches used to have purpose and meaning, and now it's just, hey, we're putting on shows now. We're stroking our egos, you know, flaunting, showing our stuff in front of the world.
You know what else is odd about this? Yeah, I'm kind of noticing now. Granted, you know, the video is not very long, but it's really only dudes and like gay dudes and transgender or drag queen. You know, guys dressed as girls. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I'm seeing. I don't really see. I think there's one lady right there.
Well,
dancing that I've seen this whole video.
Really attractive girls don't have to worry about being lesbian because they have a plethora of dudes coming after them. And the guys, they want to look good for their. It's like most lesbian girls are lesbian typically, and this is conjecture on my part, but in my opinion, most lesbians turn out lesbian because they're either perceived as butch or not attractive by traditional standards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, That's probably true. That's probably
So
the
they're not
case.
going to be the ones out there flaunting their stuff in front of the crowd. Now, granted, that's not to say we haven't seen degenerates who, like that old fat guy in those tidy whities who was twerking in front of little kids at that other Pride thing.
Yep.
Like that, obviously he doesn't care.
Clearly.
So, but I think again, when it comes to women, shame hits them a little harder, or societal beauty standards hit them harder. And I say it's just beauty standards, not societal. So, beauty standards hit women harder because they are much more, unless they're just indoctrinated by feminism so much they go, I'm beautiful the way I am, even if I am 400 pounds. It's like, well, doesn't mean everybody else wants to see it. So those guys, they're out there because they've been working out and they're like, yeah, we got it. These are the bodies we want. We cultivated that. So that's degeneracy. That's not, where are the classy gay guys who would come out in suits and ties and just be like, we did it. We achieved our goals and now we have love for everyone. But that's not what you're seeing. You're seeing that. And it's going to get worse. Like, I mean, go ahead and pull up that other video where the guy talks about the dude flashing his daughter. Or actually, not even flashing. The guy just walked up to his daughter naked. And where was this? This is in Portland, right?
Yes, this was in Portland.
Yeah, so
it's in Oregon for sure. I don't know if it's in Portland.
There are degenerates within the Pride community. I would say most of Pride is degenerate anyway. Like that parade, clearly full of degenerates. But this right here takes the cake. So play it whenever you're ready.
You got it. And adjust.
This is like the tidy whitey guy, but worse.
100%.
State of Oregon, someone can walk up to your 2-year-old kid completely bare naked, and that's not a crime, even if it's on your property.
Correct. Well, so it's trespassing, but what I'm saying is there's no laws against the actual nudity portion of it.
So you can expose yourself to children in Oregon.
Again, if you're not doing it for sexual gratification or the gratification of somebody else, yes, you are allowed to walk around in public naked.
On private property, this is where I live, and someone just came and exposed themselves to my 2-year-old boy, and this officer's saying that it's not a crime. So a naked person came up onto my property here, approached my 2-year-old kid, completely naked, which I ran over to him and covered his eyes so he wouldn't see. My obvious thought is to call 911 as someone's indecently exposing themselves to my child on my property. At what point did this become a normal and acceptable thing to do? The cops will literally do nothing about it. They're basically saying we have to wait for that person to do something more serious to your kid before we can intervene. You're saying in the state of Oregon,
God help us all.
And this is what we're talking about. It was like what we were talking about the Canadian police officer today. Leave your keys at the door so that way the criminals can get them. I mean, now
naked people can walk on your property in Portland, Oregon, and you can't. I mean, I guess you could say, please leave with nice language, but in what world does any sane, rational human being walk up to a 2-year-old, a random 2-year-old, on the front lawn of their own home, naked, and say, yeah, no, this is fine. I'm just going to go say hi to this little kid.
And this is what we're talking about with these parades. Like, you can't dress like that in public, but for some reason at a pride parade,
yeah.
you can. And this has led to the moral degradation of society that now this is okay. Because you can do it at a pride. That's the census right there. It's like, if you can do this at a pride parade, why can't I do this anywhere?
Yeah, can I go to the Owasso High School or any of the Owasso elementary schools in a banana hammock and that's it, and just start going up and talking to kids without the police showing up? Like, oh no, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just not doing it for my gratification. I just want to say hi to some kids in a banana hammock or butt naked. What's wrong with that? It's just the human body. At what point are we going to start enforcing some moral and social standards again? Again, that police officer, he's using the law to protect a criminal. What? I mean, they should have tased the guy who was butt naked. But then they'd be worrying about some civil rights thing going, oh, they just hate gay. The police department hates gay people. They're more worried about that than they are about protecting you or your kids from degenerate behavior. From a predator walking up to your kids butt naked. I mean, I'm starting to see why they classified homosexuality as a mental illness back in the 50s, because at some point you got to be like, that's what just happened that this guy described is not normal behavior. And if you want that to be normal behavior, you are a problem. I'm not going to point fingers, but you are a problem. You are a problem. Pride is a problem. Pride has a problem. And they're so gun-ho about their ridiculous movement that they don't even bother dealing with the degenerates within their movement. Again, you can't. Where are the classy gay dudes? Kind of like, I guess, Douglas Murray. He's a British political commentator. Wears suit and tie and goes out. But he doesn't really even talk about being gay. He doesn't even bring it up. Unless prompted. But these people got to go out and make it their entire personality. And again, the police officer's not protecting your kids, your family from degenerates who walk up to them completely naked. I mean, I guarantee you, a 12 gauge would solve that problem real quick.
Yep.
Or taser. Pepper spray. But again, the police are too concerned about the social reprisals from the gay community than they are about enforcing morality laws or social standards. It's
even like the same thing with that study that they found, that black Harvard professor. I'm blanking on his name. I'll go find it later. But where he found that police are actually less likely to engage or use,
there were no racial discrepancies between police shootings. There were some police discrepancies in between physical contact with black people versus other races.
But not shootings.
Not shootings. Not shootings. So the only gay group that matters to me is the group called Gays Against Groomers. Because that right there was groomer behavior. That right there is degenerate behavior. You do not walk up to a kid. I have no problem with people being proud of your bodies. Those guys who were on those floats in their banana hammocks, they should go to weightlifting competitions or go to Venice Beach and show off there. That's fine. Because people expect to see that there. We shouldn't expect to see that in a pride parade. You definitely shouldn't expect to see it, a naked dude on your front lawn trying to wave to your kid.
Yeah. And again, we're not saying that that guy was possibly even gay, but the gay pride parades of them leading these pretty much almost naked, besides like a mankini or whatever, in public has led to this type of society where you can walk around and, oh, well, if you can do it at a parade, clearly I can do it anywhere. That's where this has led to. Whether they did it on purpose or on not, that's the question we have to ask ourselves. But it's led to this.
Yeah, and gratification. How do you prove intent? And that's the problem. Like, the police officers are giving him the out going, well, I didn't intend to gratify myself by talking to a little kid. God. It's
sickening.
It is
sickening.
Stuff.
You know,
there has to be a moral come to Jesus again. Like, this kind of behavior is not to be tolerated. And if you're a gay person that thinks that this is, oh, it's all just in good fun. Okay. You're part of a huge problem in our society.
Mm-hmm. Ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go ahead and push on. So the next story we have, and again, this just goes to show you that it's obviously not all in good fun for the gays or for the pride community, because a bar in, where was this?
I can find out in the video. I don't remember right off the back. I think it says Old State Saloon and Bar in Eagle, Idaho.
Eagle, Idaho. So a bar in Eagle, Idaho decided to declare that it was Heterosexual Awareness Month. And and on certain days of the week, he gives free drinks to dudes and he gives discount drinks to girls, and it's just a promotional thing. But of course, the media has outrage against this because an article was written about it, or a news station did a report on it, going, "Oh yeah, no, this is my counterculture movement to this nonsense of pride." So it's just a way to get people to come into the bar. It's just a promotional thing, and pride's like, ridiculous. We should get this place shut down. Like, it is clearly not just in good fun, because if this guy can do this and say it's just in good fun, it's just a way to make people aware of, like. Look, if gay people allowed to be have pride in being gay, how come there's no one's allowed to have pride in being heterosexual? Why is there this double standard? Well, it's like they're arguing like, oh, because you've never been oppressed. Well, you're not oppressed anymore. So what's the deal here? Why can't these guys do this? Why do you guys have to have outrage? Why do you guys have to come and kill these people's fun?
You ready for me to play the video?
Yeah, go ahead and play it.
All right.
Hey, my name is Mark Fitzpatrick, owner of Old State Saloon in Eagle, Idaho. Our saloon has become the heterosexual headquarters. We launched Heterosexual Awesomeness Month for June. Monday is Heterosexual Male Monday, and if you're a heterosexual male and you come in here, you get a beer for free. There's no strings attached. We'll call it Beers for Breeders. On Wednesdays, if you're a heterosexual couple, you get 15% off your entire bill. And on Thursdays, all day is Her Hetero Happy Hour. So heterosexual awesomeness is basically an opportunity to celebrate God's design for man and woman and that sexual attraction between them. Idaho's the reddest state in the country, as you know. We've got so many people here who are like-minded and who want to do what's right, they want to do what's moral. I think that this country is ready to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. Let's stand for things that are right and true and godly. Everybody is welcome to come here and help us celebrate Heterosexual Awesomeness Month.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't see why anybody who celebrates Pride would have an issue or take issue with them doing that. What's wrong? They're just having a good time. They're just trying to promote their bar. They're just doing what they think is right in accordance with the word and God's law. Nothing wrong with that. But of course, people are outraged over it. For a community that thinks they're awful tough, they sure get butthurt over stuff real easy.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't understand why they can't just let people have one. But again, what that guy's doing, that's a counterculture movement. So it's going to catch a lot of flack because gay is mainstream now. Homosexuality is mainstream. It's part of the mainstream culture. It's part of the zeitgeist of this country for whatever reason. So when the media is on your side, when all the institutions are on your side, when every single company in the world changes their flag, except for in Saudi Arabia, they change their flags to rainbow for you in your month. You're in charge. You're the zeitgeist. You're the cultural zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm.
This is a counterculture movement trying to go back to tradition. So just let them have their W here and move on. But again, the media is never going to allow that. The community is never going to allow that because there's too much money and too much media coverage and outrage.
What's that old saying? The devil's never satisfied. He only wants more. He's not satisfied till he has everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's very true. But yeah, that's about all we've got for you today. We just wanted to kind of hammer these points home with the pride and with that Democrats electing dead folks. So, yeah, let's hopefully we can turn back. My brothers in Christ, we must return to Christ. So let's go back to morality, get some decency back on the ballot or something. We got at least back in the cultural zeitgeist again. So that's about all I've got for you today. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel, get some more like-minded people involved and in the community, and just kind of spread awareness of what's going on every day in the news and bring it to you in hopefully a fun and interesting way. So that's about all I've got for you. We're signing off. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.